kutoka milimani, Muungani hadi Pwani. ELOG inasimama kwa sauti huru,
kwa uadilifu na haki. Sisi tuko imara, Kenya mpya kwa matumaini ya dhati.
Kutoka kaskazini, kusini, mashariki na magharibi, tunajivunia Kenya, nchi ya matumaini. Kwa uadilifu na amani, sisi tunaimba kwa kusema ELOG for credible, peaceful, free and fair elections.
Tunatoka kwa jamii, vikundi vya kidini na mashina.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Darubini Ya Uchaguzi podcast, where we talk about elections, reforms, and the future of democracy. I am your host, Karen Wambui Waithera, and this is the Darubini Ya Uchaguzi special episode. So today's topic, we'll be talking about a wave that is shifting the political landscape in Kenya, the rise of youth in democratic engagement, which gives rise to the episode's title, and that is Youth and Democracy, from Protests to Participation. Joining me to unpack this moment is someone who sits at the heart of both the electoral reform space and youth advocacy as a practitioner, and I'd like him to introduce himself.
Thank you very much, Carol. My name is Victor Nyongesa. I serve as the Chief Executive Officer at Youth Agenda. I also serve as the Election Observation Group Chair, I think from this year, April. Yes.
Let's start with the present. In the past 18 months, we have seen Gen Zs mobilize across Kenya in ways we haven't seen before on the streets, on TikTok, and in civic forums. What does this shift mean for Kenya's democracy?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I want to say these are exciting times because for those ones who've been in the space, especially in the governance space for a while, you could tell that things are changing. And they are changing because of this generation that is now active and involved in shaping the narrative in this country. It means that citizens are awake. They want to shape democracy. They want to shape development in this country. And they are open to use available platforms in doing this. For those ones who've been in existence for quite some time, you could tell that initially mobilization and basically citizen mobilization and engagement used to be through either forums or you convene a meeting somewhere and all that. But we are seeing a generation that is eager to utilize the available platforms, the social media platforms, to mobilize, engage, and even give their input on different discussions. And it shows that as a country, I think we are headed in the right direction. I know people, there are those ones who will see it from the negative side in terms of what we've witnessed online and all that, the negative feedback or comments we've seen online. But what I want to encourage people is this is a new platform that people are trying to utilize to shape democracy, to shape conversations in this country. And even you could tell, if we go to streets, of course, high chances are will be tear gassed and all that will happen. So people have decided to be innovative. They've decided to utilize these social media platforms to ensure that their views are heard and ensure that, of course, development and policies are informed by the views of citizens. And that's why young Gen Zs are really active on this. Yeah.
Interesting. From someone who works very closely with youth institutions, yes, and movements, what can you tell is different about this generation?
Yeah, this is a tech-savvy generation. I'm a youth. I utilize social digital platforms and all that, yes, but I'm seeing a generation that is heavily active on social media. A generation that they are very innovative in coming up with different platforms. If we just look at what we had last year during the demonstrations regarding the finance bill, we saw young people come up with very innovative digital platforms where you can be able to track all promises, all issues that they were highlighting and all that, it it, it shows that we have a generation that understands their rights. It's a generation that wants to influence, and they're willing to, of course, take up these opportunities, the digital platforms, to in shaping this narrative, of which I think it's, if you compare with our generation, I think the millennials and all that, for us, we are used to town hall meetings and forums and all that,
Yeah.
but this is a generation that is willing to utilize the available platforms here.
As someone who's also young myself,
Yes.
just to follow up on what you're saying,
Yes.
how do we turn this energy into like long-term structure and meaningful participation beyond the protest? Because we do have protests, but we want to see change beyond it, because I assume that is what takes us into the street. It's the fact that we want to call for change. So how do we turn that into meaningful, long, structured participation?
Okay, let me just use what we witnessed last year as an example, and probably the hits and misses from the youth side. I think when young people are actively, what we saw last year, when young people came out to, of course, demonstrate against the finance bill, they had other so many issues that they raised. One of them was the high wage bill, the issue of debt, the need to remove the office of the spouse to the vice president, and many other issues that they raised. Unfortunately, the miss we had was nobody stepped in to help these young people consolidate this into a document that they can use as a reference point for a long-term process, in a long-term way, because we had so many issues, we raised them, but if today you ask yourself, what have we achieved, we are not able to track that. Yes, we've seen several positive, several achievements and all that, but have we been able to document whether we've been able to address all the issues we had last year? And this means that we as youth serving organizations, then we need to step in. We need to be actively involved in guiding these young people that this is how you can consolidate your issues, and this is where to channel your issues. This is the responsible office for this matter. This is the responsible office for this matter. Beside that, beside just providing that technical guidance to them, we also need to be open to providing information in terms of what does the law say, what basically the legal aspect to some of these issues that they are raising. And with that, I think it will help them be able to make informed decisions, because you could tell there are some issues that they raised at that time that probably could be addressed by county governments. There are some issues that will be addressed by the national government. So with this information, then it helps them know where to channel their effort and resources.
So would you say that young people are being meaningfully involved in the actual democratic processes, like reforms, elections, or political parties?
Not really. Okay. This is an exciting question, because 2 days ago, I did post on my LinkedIn about what meaningful youth engagement entails. And for our country, I think we've been defining meaningful engagement as in terms of the numbers of people involved. But if today I was to give a broader definition to this, for me, I'll say meaningful youth engagement has to go beyond mere numbers. We have to look at the aspect of how are we involving these individuals, and we need to also understand that youth is not a homogeneous group. There are different categories of young people.
True.
Then meaningful youth engagement needs to ensure that all these categories of young people are included in the conversations. Not just being included, but are we also incorporating the views of young people into the final policy documents, into the final programs that we're coming up with as a country? Because there's one thing, participating is one thing, but also incorporating the citizens, the feedback of these individuals is key, because I don't want just to attend a forum, give my thoughts, but at the end of the day, they'll still implement what they had in mind and all that. Then that's not meaningful engagement. Beside that, as the entity that is engaging the youth, also need to be open to provide information to these individuals for them to be able to prepare well and be able to engage meaningfully. And without information, then high chances are this young person will engage from a point of no information. And when you provide this information, you also need to be open to provide feedback to these individuals. You gave us this. This is what we'll be able to incorporate, and probably this one will be factored in probably in the next financial year or any other in the next step and all that. That aspect of conversation, I give my thoughts, and I'm also able to receive feedback from the entity that is in charge of this process. But like I said again, in generally, even as a civil society organization and even the government, I think we need to go beyond just assessing meaningful youth engagement by, if for those of us who've done fundraising and even looked at government proposals, the aspect of number of youth engaged, number of youth mobilized has always been the indicator of assessing how youth are engaged. But we don't go beyond that aspect of, yes, they've engaged. What next? What have we incorporated into the final documents? And that's why I always say, even as we approach 2027 general elections, we need to go beyond just pushing for youth to be elected, to also look at the aspect of quality of these individuals we are fronting, because having 100 people in parliament does not guarantee that your issues will be addressed. You rather have 5 who understand why they are there and they'll represent you well.
I love the fact that you have said that most of the time when people engage with you, they tend to think about the numbers over the quality.
Yes.
And just to work on the same line of the thoughts that you are sharing, is it because we have representation in numbers and there isn't much change that we are not being taken seriously? Because I really want to understand what's blocking youth or young people from being taken seriously in these spaces.
Okay, I think for me, I'll say it's just the negative perception about young people that has been there for years. Especially if you interact with the older generations, I think you could even just feel it when you enter that room and all that. In most cases, youth are treated as by the way, just something to add on top. Yeah, let's hear from a young person and hear their perspective and all that. So it shows that there is that negative perception about young people. They still think that we do not understand, we do not have a clear experience or probably knowledge in terms of shaping these discussions and all that. But for young people who've been given that chance, some of them have really performed so well. But of course, in every group, there are individuals who are still will still again let you down, and that's why yes, we've had some young people who are in these offices, but still, if you look at their performance and all that, it's not to the expectation of the citizens. So it's a normal thing, but I think we need to also start encouraging young people that where we are, nobody is going to invite you to the table. Nobody is going to invite you to the table. It's only for you to find a way and join that table. And it's always said that if you're not on the table, then high chances are you're the menu.
Yeah.
Wow. So then for us young people, then we have to find a way of ensuring that we are on the table where the decisions are being made. Yeah.
I love that. If you're not on the table, high chances are you are the menu.
Yes.
So on to the next. Yes. We know that the electoral reform deadline is February 2026. That's less than 2 years away.
Yeah.
So from where you sit, what are the 3 key reforms that must happen if we want the youth to take part in the 2027 election and not be the menu?
Okay. I think for this one, I think I'll talk about two reforms that I'm very much interested in. One is the implementation of the Campaign Financing Act, which has been again it was passed, but it has never been implemented for, I think, for past 3 elections. So this is a law that is meant to provide an equal ground for people to campaign equally and be able to, of course, go for those positions. You understand the Kenyan elections, it's rated as among the most expensive elections in the world. And a lot of resources go to campaigns. So for us to be able to address this, then we had to put in place the Campaign Financing Act, which was to limit the spending of candidates for various political seats. And young people, I think at this point, we are struggling with limited resources to pull a strong campaign. And the only way we can do that is if we have a level playground that is equal for everyone to campaign for that. Beside that, I'm also interested in it would be good for us to find a way of implementing Article 100, which again talks about representation of marginalized groups, which again for quite some time, for several years, it has never been implemented. So those are the two reforms that I'm very much interested to see whether they'll be implemented, they'll be executed before February. But of course, those are meant for young people, but there are other reforms that, of course, we as a country expect them to do. And it's not just reforms, even just the IBC preparations for the elections. There are several things that they need to do between now and February of next year. Yeah.
From where you sit,
Yes.
especially those key reforms that you have given to on young people,
Yes.
if they are ignored, do we risk more apathy or more unrest?
Okay. It depends with how young people take it, because as much as these are two reforms that are meant to enable young people go for those political seats, go for those different political seats, but if not implemented, then still as young people, because at this point we are already active, we are interested in shaping democracy, we are interested in these upcoming elections, then we have to take advantage of our numbers, because it's already it's in public domain. Youth are the majority, and it's high time for us to take advantage of the numbers we have and ensure that we front young people in those different political seats and support them.
Okay. Yeah. So we know that you wear two hats.
Yes.
From your great introduction.
Yes.
You're leading ELOG as a chair, and which, by the way, he's the youngest chair to ever hold that seat, and he's leading us well. And then you're also heading Youth Agenda, which is a youth-led organization. How are these two organizations that you are jointly chairing responding to this youth movement?
Okay, I think let me start by saying from the Youth Agenda perspective, we've been in the process of supporting young people, and we've been doing this through supporting other youth organizations out there that are based at the grassroots level in terms of strengthening their capacity to mobilize and engage with young people. And this support is also going beyond addressing the issue of enabling young people access information that is relevant for them to shape the conversations at the grassroots level. But I also see, being a member of Election Observation Group, again, our goal is to ensure that the voice of young people is integrated in election observation. Our goal is to ensure that young people not only participate in the elections as voters, but also as candidates and also as observers. And that's why one of the reasons why Youth Agenda is a member of ELOG is to ensure that we have the voices of young people in ELOG, especially when it comes to matters election observation. Yes.
So, from a genuine view, I'd want to know, do you think there is real collaboration between the youth, civil societies, and the electoral system, or are we still talking past each other?
Now, for this one, I think it's both. We've seen instances where I think institutions are operating in silos. despite the few instances where we've seen the election bodies, for example, the IEBC, convene the stakeholders. And I think in our last election, the 2017 and 2022, we saw IEBC even convene youth organizations and establish what we call a youth coordinating committee, which was again a plus. It was a platform that we came together and used it for purpose of mobilizing young people, for purpose of civic education and all that. But I think it has to go beyond just that election period. These consultations need to be continuous, needs to be long-term. They have to go even beyond the elections and even on matters electoral reforms and all that. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So just to kind of sum up this conversation that you have had in Brilliance, what message do you have for young people who are fired up, frustrated, and looking for a way to stay engaged, not just for 2027, but between now and then?
Yes. First, I want to tell young people to know that we have the numbers. Going by the 2019 census, I think at that time we were about 16 million. 16 million is enough to win us those political seats and all that. But we cannot achieve that if we do not register as voters. The only way we can do that is first ensuring that we have IDs, register as voters, and of course mobilize among ourselves in preparations for the upcoming elections. So let's take advantage of the numbers we have as young people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Victor. Do you have any other thoughts, finishing thoughts?
Not really. I think to just appreciate you for having me.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. So thank you. I want to say thank you to Victor for hosting us and for having with us this powerful conversation. And I think one key thing that I have taken being that I have also sat in boards where I, as a young person, I felt the tokenism where we're not really heard, but we are just to be seen there as numbers.
Yes.
Is to anyone wanting to involve the youth, there is diversity in youth first, just like you said. And we hope that as you invite the youth in these spaces, it will not just be about the numbers, but it will be about the quality of also the input that you want from young people. Yeah. And to our listeners who are young people as well, I want you to know that just as he said, if you're not on the table, then you are the menu. So let us keep in the loop of this conversation, that this is not just a conversation that you're having for the 2027 general election, but beyond. So let democracy stay alive. Let's be informed and be in the information loop, because information is power. Follow ELOG on all the social media platforms, ELOG KNY at Twitter, ELOG Kenya on TikTok, and Darubini Ya Uchaguzi podcast on YouTube. Subscribe, link, and stay connected. Thank you.
Kutoka milimani, Bungani hadi pwani, ELOG inasimama kwa sauti huru,
kwa uadilifu na haki. Sisi tuko imara, Kenya mpya kwa matumaini ya dhati.
Kutoka kaskazini, kusini, mashariki na magharibi, tunajivunia Kenya, nchi ya matumaini. Kwa uadilifu na amani, sisi tunaimba kwa kusema ELOG for credible, peaceful, free and fair elections.
Tunatoka kwa jamii, vikundi